Hello everybody, welcome back to Stray. We just left the safety of the Slums outside Momo's back door and we are now into chapter 5. This is the first chapter that we're going to have to work around the Zurks in an open setting. We've done our first chase sequence, but this is actually going to test how we can stay safe while navigating around them in a more open environment. Before you hop down and into the fray, you'll want to stop and scratch this carpet. It is the only scratch point in this entire chapter, so do make sure that you do this before you move on. It's right as you get off the bucket ride, right at the very, very start of this chapter. Once you've done that and you've taken a deep breath and you're ready to face some enemies here, we can get right into it. So basically what you want to do is find a way to kite around the Zurks. If you can attract them and then go and run in another direction, they'll be forced to chase you, but you are usually faster than the Zurks. The one thing you have to watch out for with the Zurks is that they can jump. So if you can get between them and a fenced area or something like that, some sort of obstacle, it's not as difficult to get around them. So over here, we're gonna go ahead and attract them. You can either meow or just simply run and try and get close to them. Walk across the beam and up onto the rooftop. They can jump at you, but they won't jump onto this rooftop, for example, to come and get you. So getting to higher ground is always going to be the best way to avoid them. I also love that this chapter is kind of going back to how it was in chapter 2, where it's very desolate and spooky, and you can see all of this damage that the Zurks have done. They have just completely taken over this whole city, and it's just very spooky. They certainly don't look menacing, but you can see how much damage they've done. There is a memory here directly in our path. The city is full of neon. It wasn't always this way. There used to be strict energy caps, especially in the slums, but people couldn't handle the constant darkness. One day, someone lit up rainbow lamps, neon signs all over their house. That person was taken away and never seen again. But people saw hope, and not long after, everyone started putting lots of lights in their homes. There was nothing that the oppressors could do. It was a way for people to see colors again, like on the outside. I think it helped. Yeah, can you imagine living somewhere with no sunshine? I'm not exactly a huge fan of the outdoors myself, but living in complete darkness would be just so incredibly difficult and very depressing. So there's a beam that we're going to hop across, and this is actually a movable beam. So we're going to have to jump on it twice to get over to the next rooftop. And then we will hop into our barrel and move it over to yet another swinging beam over here. Again, extremely linear in this chapter, really no deviation at all, and again going back to sort of a more tutorial chapter where they're going to teach us a little bit more about Zurks. So we're going to attract all these Zurks. I'm actually going to stand right in front of this gate. As you can see, they can't go through it. I am completely safe, but they are trying to get over here. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to hack the door once to let them in. And then we're actually going to hack the door a second time to keep them on this side. We can hop on over, and this keeps us completely safe. Now we can roll the barrel over without any worries of them attacking us to move on. So kind of also the first chapter where we're sort of getting some puzzles as well. Ways to sort of outsmart the Zurks and put barriers between us. Sometimes you can just plain out run them, but if you're having to move barrels and do things that slow you down, obviously you need safety in order to be able to do that. So we're gonna hop through that window up there. And this always just really grosses me out. You would think this is like very dangerous to stand on. I mean, it looks not good. It looks toxic or dangerous for you, but fortunately it is okay for us to stand on. It just, for some reason, always really grosses me out. It looks like, you know, inside of your body, like a diseased body or something to me. You can see that even up here, the Zurks are very desperate to get to me. We have a bit of a maze here. You can see that we need to get over to the other side, but there's lots of steel beams and things like that to separate us. So I'm going to attract them. I'm going to try and get them over here, and then I'm going to jump, go around, and find my way over to the scaffolding. Easy peasy. Same thing over here. I'm going to attract them to this side and then run around the best I can. You can see they actually did find me there, but I still had enough time so that I didn't get overwhelmed. It is okay to get the odd Zurk on you. You're not really going to be in trouble unless you're not quick enough and you have a huge swarm of them on you. So in this area, we're actually just going to ignore everything and run straight to this back wall for another memory. Neko Corp. They were responsible for waste management. As trash from the upper levels overloaded the slums, they tried to develop a bacteria to dissolve it all. After the humans disappeared, that bacteria mutated, growing, eating way more of the trash. And now we have Zurks. Yeah, so kind of an interesting backstory to how these Zurks ended up kind of taking over everything. It's very interesting to think that they sort of started out as bacteria. So we're gonna have to let the Zurks out. We're gonna have to let them sort of chase us a little bit here, because we actually need to go back and close the door from this side. So you want to keep them out there so that we can move the barrel. Now, looking at where they are, I think they're far enough away that I should be able to get away with moving the barrel safely. I like to do it this way, where I lock the Zurks out, move the barrel as close as I can to the door, open the door, and immediately start rolling it until it stops. And then you can hop up to safety. And you can see there that the Zurks were so far away that I was in no danger whatsoever. So it's always just good to check your surroundings. And as you can see here, sometimes they will actually fall as well. Zurks can fall. They're not always the best climbers or jumpers. So sometimes you get lucky and you lose a couple of Zurks as they fall through the cracks. And this here is the very last section of this chapter. So this was another very, very short chapter. And we are now finally at that elevator that B12 had mentioned much, much earlier. So when you're ready, you're going to pull the lever. And we are in for a swarm of Zurks, as you can see. But this is fairly easy just to run around and avoid them. I just like to do big, sweeping circles. Lots and lots of obstacles between us. There's lots of walls, there's holes in the floor, lots and lots of stuff for them to get lost on. Do a couple of big loops, and you can see that the elevator has arrived. So you want to use one of the boxes or debris on the side of the elevator to get in. And once you're in, you're safe. They can't get to you. They can try. They're trying very hard. But it's not so bad. It seems very scary at first when you see that sheer amount of Zurks, but at this stage of the game, they're still being very generous with how we can deal with them, giving us lots of obstacles and ways to avoid them. And we made it! Oh, hallelujah, look at that. We made it to the tower, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this transceiver will work. And we can see the upper levels in the background. So hopefully Momo's device will reach anybody who's up on the upper levels. The view, it's beautiful from here. I remember now, the city, it was meant to be a shelter. Those look like stars, but they're only lights marking the hermetic roof sealing off the city. Humankind built this shell to protect themselves from the outside, but it came at a cost. Nobody can go out. The outside was a disaster, completely barren, unlivable, and dangerous. But if you come from there, it must mean it's safe again. And my promise wasn't just to go to the outside, it was to open the city. I still don't understand why some memories are coming back and others aren't. But I'm certain now that this is my purpose. I have to open the city. Come on, let's go back and find Momo. Now that we've connected the transmitter, we should be able to get help. Yeah, so B12's memories are coming back, sort of remembering what his purpose was. And I think personally that that is very eerie and very scary to think that we're just living in this big metal dome and that those are in fact not stars but just lights. So you have to think that even though there's no humans left, these robots which have now taken on very human personalities and very human-like characteristics are living in a place with no sunshine. They're just perpetually stuck in darkness. And you think back to the very first chapter and how absolutely beautiful it was on the outside. It just makes you kind of sad. It definitely motivates me to want to open the dome to get to the outside. To help Momo and his friends. So you can see that that is the end now of chapter 5, and we are now right back into the city. I'm going to stop and scratch this rug right away for my scratching achievement progress for this chapter. We have been dropped right back into Momo's apartment, so as I said, if you forgot to grab the collectibles that were here in the last video, this is the best time to do it if it was missed previously. And Momo has left us a note. Little outsider, if you're reading this, that means you're still alive. Excellent. I took some equipment to the bar to take advantage of their antenna. Come meet me there. I've locked the window, but the code to open it is quite simple. It is definitely not simple. That is something that B12 will be able to do for us. We'll get him to punch in that code. There we go. All right. So we can ride the bucket down to the lower level, and then we can take the other bucket to get down to the very bottom. Or if you want, you can climb down. It might be faster to climb, but I just think taking the buckets is so much fun. Plus, if you take the buckets, it puts you directly in front of the bar. Right in front of Momo. Hello! Hey, little furball! Come here, I managed to get a signal. Ooh, that's exciting. I am so happy that you are happy. He was so miserable when we met him. Let me see if I can get this thing working. I've almost got it. Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, yes, we can hear you. We're from the slums. We're looking for a way out and... Wait, is that you, Balthazar? Momo? I can't believe it. I'm so happy to hear your voice. Where are you? Are the others okay? Yes, we are safe. We found a way up. Hello, do you still hear me? You have to go through the sewers to reach us. Very dangerous. Zurks everywhere. Sewers? How? Hello? Darn it, we've lost the signal. I can't believe it. Balthazar is alive. He and the other outsiders managed to go up through the sewers? The sewers are the most dangerous place in the slums, but if Balthazar made it, there must be a way. You'll never get past the sewers. It's infested with Zurks. They'll make a quick meal out of you, especially you, little one. Many tried their luck in the past. It doesn't end well. Anyway, I warned you. Your business is none of my business. But you made it your business. By butting in. Ugh, Seamus. His father, Doc, used to be a great scientist. He was working on some new weapon to fight the Zurks. A few years ago, he went off to test his device and never came back. Seamus has never been the same since. Don't listen to Seamus. He's just scared like I was. If Doc built a weapon, that's our ticket to join the Outsiders. In his notebook, Doc mentioned a secret lab a few times. That must be where he was working on it. There might be a clue in Seamus's apartment. Come on, follow me. Alright, things are getting good story-wise, I really like all of the robots that you run into. They all just have so much personality. We will go ahead and follow Momo just so that we know where it is that we need to go. But this is probably going to be a great time for me to stop and take a little bit of a breather. So this would have been where Seamus and Doc lived together. You know your father would have wanted to help us. Well, that was to be expected. This situation is pretty tough on Seamus. He doesn't want to hear about the outsiders anymore. He won't help me. But you... I think I have an idea. Take Doc's notebook and show it to Seamus. It contains a lot of information that will hopefully act as an electroshock. Find the secret lab, little outsider. I'm going back to the bar to try to re-establish communication with the others. Alright, Momo. I will do that in just a few shakes. That just gave me a checkpoint save, which is excellent. It means I can kind of continue on from there in the next video. Now that we are back in the city, this is the perfect time to do anything else that you missed while we were here the first time. So you can hand over some more music, you can collect anything else that you missed, any of the optional achievements. If you haven't put the ball in the basket, this is a good time to do it. Anytime that you have a reload and the ball is back, you can try your luck. I'm just going to get my bearings a little bit, practice for the next chapter, and we will continue on. I think what I'm going to do is let our musician here play us off with a nice little tune. So I'm going to give him some sheet music to end out this video. Thank you all so very much for watching, and enjoy being serenaded.